and that is Lisa Pozzoni, also known as Coach Lisa. Lisa is working on her level 4 elective project for the dynamic leadership path. She could either manage an online meeting or do an online webinar. In this webinar, which is what she chose to do, Lisa will be sharing some easy ways to come up with content that you can use in a speech or marketing effort if you are an entrepreneur. Content marketing is one of the most effective ways to reach your potential clients. Lisa has been in Toastmasters for almost 18 years. She started a fitness business around the same time, but now owns the Running University, where she is a running coach and helps people celebrate finish lines they never thought possible. By the end of her presentation, we will have a few ideas for our next speech. Help me welcome Lisa Pozzoni.
Thank you, Madame Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. What do I talk about? Raise your hand if you're either a business owner or a Toastmaster and you've asked yourself that question at least once. Probably really a million times. And it's the thing that keeps you probably from scheduling a speech, because you just can't come up with that idea of what you want to talk about. I am here today and I'm going to help you come up with some ideas so that you're going to have plenty of ideas for the rest of the year to even sign up for speeches so that we can have our calendar all filled up. I'm going to share my screen now. I hope I should have had this done before. Okay. So what do I talk about? Right now, the first thing I want you all to do is to grab a pen and paper. Hopefully you have one right there next to you. Even if you need to use your phone and you don't have one, you could take notes in your phone, but grab a pen and paper because we are going to spend some time coming up with some topics. I'm going to give you plenty of ideas and plenty of ways to do that today. Two of the major things that you want to think about before you even come up with your topic is you need to know your audience. As Toastmasters, anything really goes when we speak, for the most part. You know, religion, politics, sex could be potentially areas that we may not want to speak about. However, I would like to say that we've had times where there may be a pastor in our Toastmaster club, or there may be somebody who really needs to practice something that's related to those three topics, and that would be okay if they chose to use those topics, so long as they let us know. When we're talking about a business, which I know we have several business people here, knowing your audience is very key to how you're going to relate to them. So you want to know who your audience is, and we would call that your ideal client. If you've heard that word before, maybe your avatar is another word, but basically it's the niche of people that you're talking to. So for example, I'm a running coach. I'm not going to post any content on social media or a blog about how to decorate your beach house. That has nothing to do with what my audience would be looking for from me. So it's very important that you know who your audience is. The second thing that you really need to have is passion behind the subject. And I can give you an example of, I remember wanting to deliver one of my most important speeches ever. It was during the time that I was involved with my partner who was a trans woman, and I walked 100 miles in the middle of the summer in 2012 for marriage equality. And obviously that was a very tough thing to do. And I was so excited to share my speech in my Toastmaster club. But when I wrote out my speech, even though I was so passionate about the subject, I was trying to read it line by line, and my passion just came out of it because I was more concerned about reading my speech. So having something you're really passionate about is very important because it does come through. So even though I was passionate about that subject at the time, the way that I delivered the speech took that passion out of it. So make sure that when you're talking about something, it's something that you feel passionate about, because your excitement will come through to your audience. And when we're talking about topics, these could be either in writing if we're talking about business owners. If you're a business owner, you might be blogging. You might be doing vlogs, so you might be doing video, you might be podcasting, any social media post. So those are the things that I'm talking about for the business owners. And obviously, again, you want to show some passion around those. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start giving you some ideas. Now, this one I think we've all heard from our friend, Paul Pastori, who just loves these four words or four letters, Ford. And this is a great way to start brainstorming. So I'm going to ask you all to pick one of these topics. So it could be family, friends, it could be occupation, it could be recreation, could be dreams, hobbies, or interests. I'm going to time you for a minute, and I want you to pick one of these, and I want you to start brainstorming ideas of what you could talk about on these. And ready, set, go. $15 seconds. And stop. So I would like to see if anybody wants to give something that came up for them, if anybody wants to share anything on their list. Eduarda.
I chose hobbies / interests, and my interest are actually LGBT issues. And some of the things that I could be doing in that space would be address or have conversations about LGBT teen homelessness. Also engage high school GSAs in conversations about what they would like to see, changed. We would work on a pride celebration, and also implement or strategize about how to get city council to vote for a non-discrimination ordinance.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing. And with that, yes, everybody. So that she already has, when Paul talks about these four words, he talks about them as an icebreaker, right? And so now I actually am recommending that you expand out. So in Eduarda's case, she just doesn't have to include that in an icebreaker speech. She can put a whole speech around just one of these topics. These right here could be 6 different topics. There's 6 speeches right here that you could brainstorm. Thank you, Eduarda. Another way, oops, that went the wrong way, sorry. Another thing that you can talk about from a topic perspective is your life experiences. If you look back and you think about your life experiences, where you grew up as a child, where you went to school, where you went to college, experiences that you can share. And in a Toastmaster example, a 5 to 7 minute speech, that's really not a whole lot of time to talk about any experience. So I'm not going to have you brainstorm on this one. I have a few other ones that you can brainstorm on, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew. And if you are in the business owner, then your life experiences, especially how they might relate to your clients. So again, in my case, I'm a runner. So I might talk about the first time I ran my 5K. That's my life experience I can share. And as a business owner, again, part of our job and why content is important is because we're trying to know, like, and trust our customers. And this is how you build relationships. And when you're sharing your experiences with them, they can relate to you. That means that they're going to want to do business with you. So life experiences is another way that you can come up with topics. Another idea is what is in the news. For example, Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars. I didn't watch the Oscars. I didn't know what was going on until I got on Facebook the next day, and that's all everybody was talking about. But you can take something that's in the news and you can use that as a topic of conversation that you want to use in your Toastmaster speech. Or again, how will that relate? I couldn't come up with a way I could relate slapping somebody. Or I could probably make something really funny out of it, like I'm going to slap one of my runners if they don't do their training plan correctly or something, and then make a joke out of it, because I would obviously never do that. But sometimes if you just pull up news, whether you're online, I don't know, does anybody get the newspaper anymore? But you can just type in news in your Google search bar and you will have plenty of ideas that will spur a conversation that you can have as far as a speech and or any marketing material. Daily holidays. So if you Google daily holidays, you will find more than enough information that you can create a speech around. I'm going to give an example. I think, can you guys see my whole screen, or did I just make it can you see my Instagram post right now? Oh, I have the wrong. All right, I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to reshare. I apologize. I used the wrong. I'm going to go back to here. This was my post today. So today is Happy National Beer Day. Okay. And although this really doesn't relate to running, I'm not going to read my post, but I went into the idea that for me, running is all about fun. So I will absolutely stop at an aid station if there's beer, because that's fun for me. I will, but I also did put information here that I believe it's about balance, and that I have a huge amount of respect for sober runners and addicts, because they use running as a way to stop their addiction. So I really was able to create a post that could have went multiple ways. So now I want to make sure, can you see my presentation again? Mm-hmm. And another example was Benita last week, right? Benita came in and did an ad hoc speech. It was Cesar Chavez Day. She took that as, I think, the topic, and then she rolled into the rest of her speech. But taking a daily holiday, trust me, if you Google this, there's 5 to 10 holidays a day. Many of them might be very silly, but again, great topics that you can use in either a speech or a way to market to your clients. Okay, brainstorming. We're going to do another minute of brainstorming, and I will call on somebody again that will volunteer, or I will pick upon. And I'm going to have you pick either one of these: things I know about or things that I care about. And all you're going to do is start brainstorming on either one of these, and go. $15 seconds. Stop. Who wants to volunteer and share an idea or two that came out of that quick brainstorm? I know a minute's not a long time, but anybody? Joshua? Joshua has his hand up.
Things I know about how to build things and how to fix things around the house. And so one that you'll like that I just thought of is in this whole beer thing is creating a board that says drink beer because you can't drink bacon, and put a bottle opener on the bottom. I think it'll sell.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. I'm trying to think of, on the back of our Running for Brew shirts, we have something like drink beer because milk is for babies. Thank you for sharing that, Joshua. But again, as you can see, just by thinking about those two things, there's a lot of things that you care about. And there are also a lot of things that you know about, right? Okay, we're gonna move along with some more ideas. And now another thing you can do, so we're also going to do a brainstorm here. You would make 5 columns, or I'm going to have you just pick one, but you could pick one of these: people, places, things, events, or processes. And I'm going to have you brainstorm for a minute. Again, it's probably easiest to pick one and then just start listing down. So like on people, I might go down and list people that I know that I might want to talk about. Could be famous people, could be not. And go. $15 seconds. And stop. Who wants to share an idea they came up with during that brainstorming, or several if you had several? Benita.
So I actually got one for each category, and people, myself, was the first one that came to mind. Places, I thought of, came up with things. So when I was in Australia, I studied the venoms of creatures and how they're used for pharmaceuticals. So I could easily do a speech on that once again. And events, I wore a dress for 100 days straight. So that would be an event. And processes, I know how to create a computer chip because I used to work at Intel. So.
Awesome. I love it. I love that you went through on all of those and you picked one from each one of them. But again, you could see how all you need to do is just take some time to brainstorm out some ideas. Even as I was writing the speech and putting it together, when I started thinking about people, like my mom, right? I've never talked about my mom as a speech. 5 to 7 minutes. I got plenty of information on 5 to 7 minutes. I could talk about my mom, right? So again, I think sometimes we are our own enemies when it comes down to coming up with topics. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that, Benita. And let's move along. I have a couple more. And another brainstorm idea is guided brainstorm questions. I have 2 here before, and Google Icebreaker questions. These are almost together. So guided brainstorming questions would be, it makes me angry that or when. So you could just sit down and brainstorm on what things make you angry. Or the other example I have here, if I were in charge, I would, and then you could brainstorm ideas. Google Icebreaker questions. If you just literally Google Icebreaker or engagement questions, you'll come up with more ideas than you could ever think of. So I will have you take one of those first top 2. Either it makes me angry that, or if I were in charge, I would. And I'm going to give you 1 minute to brainstorm on this as well. This will be our last brainstorm. And go. $15 seconds. and stop. Who wants to share something that came out of that little mini brainstorm? Either somebody new or I will call on you. Anybody? Shin, did you have anything?
Oh, sure. It makes me angry when I'm not prepared and being called upon. No, I'm saying it makes me angry when people cannot focus on the task at hand, but instead of trying to pointing fingers and making a big drama out of that situation. Yes.
Excellent. Yes, and that could be a speech topic.
Yeah.
You could or could not share the experience, why that happened, how you felt about it, and how you handled it, right? 5 to 7 minutes for Toastmasters. That's it. Did anybody try the other question? If I could change, what was that? If I could, I can't even remember what it was now. Hold on. If I were in charge, I would. No, it's okay. We don't have to. I think we're brainstorming on some good questions over there. Oh, and there's the green light. Woo-hoo. Good timing. No. Okay, and back to the presentation. So as you guys can all see, I am assuming that by this point you have all come up with several ideas. The one last thing, and this really, it relates more to being a business owner, because as a Toastmaster, you're really bringing up speeches on things that you want to or need to talk about, whether you're practicing for a business, maybe a vlog or something like that. But just ask your customer straight out. I've done it several times. I have a newsletter. I might even post on Facebook and say, hey, what do you guys want to hear about? What do you want to know more about from me? Running technique. And then they'll give you ideas and they'll start making comments. So that's another good way, is to just go out and ask your clients what they want to hear about from you. So now, guess what? We still have some time left on my presentation time. And instead of using it at the end of the hour, which we might have to do other functionaries, I would like to see if we would have a couple people that might just go ahead and sign up for another speech coming up. You've got topics. All you need to do, it's only 5 to 7 minutes. That's it. You have at least, I'm assuming, 5. Look at Eduardo's ready to go. Benita, do you have the calendar ready? All right. Say it. Tell us, what day do you want to do it? Put her on the calendar. Let's do this.
Yeah, what's open?
Everything is open starting next week. And so you tell me if you would like 1 or 2 weeks in preparation. And
I need 2 weeks.
okay, perfect. So we can put you down for, how about the 12th of May?
Okay.
And we will put you in as speaker number 1. Thanks, Eduardo.
Mhm.
Anyone
Thank
else?
you.
I just signed up for April 28th.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you. Anybody else?
I do one next week.
Oh, Shan, she's gonna tell us about not getting called on now.
The 21st. Great. Thank you, Shin. Do we have a second taker for next week?
5 to 7 minutes, so easy.
Joshua.
All right. Joshua. Excellent. Okay, well, and we may come back to this at the end. We obviously at the end of our Toastmaster meeting today, we always go back and look through our agenda. And so you still have some time to think about putting yourself on the schedule for a speaking slot. And if a speaking slot, especially for our guests, I know you have to be a member to actually sign up for one of those positions. So maybe you guys will join us soon, but it actually is a great place to practice, is to start practicing with the functions. So you could just do something small, like, be the act counter or even answer table topics, which I think you guys have done already. There you have it. Now you all have so many ideas, and I really, really want to see your speech topic listed on our agenda coming up in the next couple of months. Madame Toastmaster.
Thank you, Lisa. That was a really, really interesting and engaging speech. I loved it.